So this is a picture of me before I was sabotaged so heavily, and mental health helped them do it, while they pretend that the Rosenhan experiment never existed. Let's look at narcissism again, shall we? The story of Echo, who was rejected trying to embrace Narcissus, and this left their Echo. That was the only thing that remained of Echo in the story. Nemesis is said to have lured Narcissus to a pool where he saw water and fell in love with himself. Realizing it would not be reciprocated, he turned into a white and gold flower. So this is the story of basically a beta guy, from Moon Temple guy, who had something that was prized. That's why it was a white and gold flower. And it was prized by shallow people, but certainly in their world, in their small world, it truly made him above them. And they wanted to make him suffer. Nemesis was a form of Aphrodite or Venus that is petty and vengeful, like the wicked witches in the cartoons. Mirror, mirror on the wall, indeed. Various versions exist, including him just trying to get a drink of water, and he falls in love with his image. Another version is he falls in love with his twin sister. So he's looking for his counterpart in this version in a society that had a degree of incest and pederasty, mind you. He falls in love with his twin sister. A lot of his suitors were male suitors. This isn't just about petty women. This is about society in general being jealous, accepting this story, and the LGBT community refusing to accept that somebody who they find attractive doesn't want to be a homosexual is part of the story. If you read between the lines, certainly, if for nothing else. Let's not forget that the word heros means master. Remember, mastor is part of the wordplay. Or ra-si, or raise a. Remember, the T is the feminine suffix. The M can be removed as well. The M and the T together make empty, is another way to look at it. Let's not forget that Hera used the pomegranate as a substitute for an opium poppy. Hera is very much like that wicked witch on the wall, making black people less appealing as they are removed from their natural terrain. What happens to a fish out of water? What happens to a plant with too much sun, with too little? People's natural environment makes them attractive. And if you go as far as to give them chemicals and target them for drugging and so on, more than everyone else, certainly they become the least attractive people. How do you go from the people with the sports gene, who are the most healthy naturally, to the least attractive? The most masculine naturally. Remember, sexy, sex-C, to the least sexy. How do you achieve that effect? We have the different deities pulling chariots. Remember, these are people who define narcissism by Narcissus, right? Someone who's actually more attractive than they are, who doesn't want anything to do with their detestable culture and their reproductive cycle. Specifically, these are people who carry themselves in a cocky manner on chariots. Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Helios, all the deities are on chariots. Hera, all of the main deities ride chariots. Certainly the 12 Olympian gods, if you will. Zeus's chariots are the four winds, led by Nike, which is also the name of a shoe company. Shoe, show, shy. Shoe, go away, right, to God, so they can live in their sick mental health, psychological construct. To constrict you, boa constrictor, python, pythos, chris, and so on, right? Another name for the python. The world serpent, Campi, Camp E, beta, evil, E-vi-L, with who? The A, the alpha letter and symbol in the Greek language. Remember, the chariots are said to come from Mesopotamia between 3000 and 2000 BC. And certainly the Hyksos, who were expelled at the same time as Greek history is really recorded, is really said to start in 1600 BC. So 1640 to 1532 BC was when the Hyksos are said to have been in Egypt. Certainly they brought the idea of being a cocky charioteer with them through Crete, through the homosexual island. King Minos is said to be the progenitor of homosexuality, where Circe is from, the daughter of Helios, where Zeus is born, and so on and so forth. Okay, the chariots, these guys are cocky sickos, sick Eberts, who ride chariots and want everyone to see them, and the contrast between them and the peasants, who are terrified, who help them bring terror, show terror to other people. That's why Demos is the deity of terror, and also the name for the people and for the peasant. So let's think about, what are they trying to cover up? These are a group of people who wear excessive clothing, who go around the world telling people to wear clothing, not just to cover up, mind you, because they bring their lust. Not everyone feels lust. In some cultures, people walk around naked people all the time, or mostly naked people, and they don't feel lust. Who taught them to feel lust? They're the same people who taught them to wear clothes more often than not. At the top of the vibrational spiritual conveyance is the hero, the heros, the master, not the hera, the jealous witch that needs to be put in her place according to their own culture. Remember, feminism comes from Greek culture. The island of Lesbos, lesbians, the LGBT community, Greece. So it is the hero and his followers. And only then do you get the female dancers, where you get the warrior panther dancers of Bast. And the panther is also a symbol of Hera. Bast, Bastet, best at what? Conveying the warrior spirit, not being a slutty little cat. And of course, when I showed you the delusions of grandeur image, it's a cat looking in the mirror seeing a lion. You are not the lion, and the lion on the standard is the leopard. The lion's message in its pure form is the leopard, not the lion, not the cat, and not the cougar, not the black panther covering things up. It is leopard, the leopard. Draw O-L, backwards, draw on the true spirit, refine, and the mass is Tor, not the mass of the Nordic Tyr, who was a martyr for that cause, and not for Haro Ares or Ra. Incidentally, the Vikings are said to have traded falcons. Traded, right? Betrayed. Traded. Add. Betrayed. Try to add it to your reproductive cycle. Try to pretend that you are the top martial artist. You are the greatest warrior when you are a slug, an oversized slug compared to the leopard. And your drool is like the drool of the slug, as you can't overcome your lust. That's why you lust. Because your list had to do with lust and not serving God. After we get these people, we get the average servant in the cycle. Everyone else is below the average circle, in the average person in the divine order. The key people are the warrior and the dancer, who is supposed to impress the warrior, not to be a Western slut. This particular group of Hyksosian, Apepian, from Babylonian, Mesopotamian dogs that migrated through Crete as Cretans, you fucking Cretans, okay, mind you, gave the West its culture, and then went around the world as they were concerned with the Set, as Set, and Isis's child of Set, mind you, not Horus. That is a trickery. He's the con whore. He's really Set. It's not really Osiris. This is less than Osiris. Set was immured with Isis, and in the true remix of the story, he forces Isis to be his wife one way or another, like Zeus forcing Hera. And then you have the baby Set, and the world is all upset with their new rulers as they go around the world as settlers and get you to settle for some less than worthy survivor's slut whore of a daughter and settle down. And they insist that you settle down. You can't make this up. Think about it. Who are the soul brothers? What is the soul referring to? Where does Superman draw his power? These dogs have the nerve to turn around and tell the most spiritually intense person that he has delusions of grandeur. Just today, someone said that I shouldn't say that I'm the top martial artist, that you're conformist, that I'm superior. Why not? You are all conforming to the paradigm as controlled opposition and otherwise. Why shouldn't I proclaim the glory of God through me, through the warrior that glorifies God, with the temple that is the body, when mind, body, soul, and spirit are basic martial arts principles? If you don't consider them, it's not a martial art. For that same reason, brute force in UFC fighting is not a martial art. It is like the Colosseum. With the Colosseum, the shallow, brute, bloodlust-filled spectators in the Colosseum enjoying this activity of these people making a spectacle of themselves. Now, why do I use the wordplay? I despise explaining it this way. My mere presence should have been felt by people who dull their senses with psych meds and Percocet, and Oxycontin, and painkillers that dull the senses, with alcohol that dulls the senses, with music that dulls the senses, with psychology and mantras that dull the senses, with meditation that dulls the senses. If they were really honing their senses effectively, why wouldn't they put their focus where it should be and submit to the Spirit of God through Har-O Aries, a Prince of Eri? When a Prince of Eri in Biafra, no gear during the Nigerian Civil War, which is a play on words for the N-word, no gear, mind you. The sun symbol, the sports gene, the warrior gene. When he says, I am the top martial artist, that by itself is a bell that rings the loudest. My family is from the cult center of Ari. Even if I wasn't a prince, you would be delusional, sick, and narcissistic to think that that I'm the one suffering from narcissistic disorder or grand delusions disorder. How could I be? This is the first place you should look. Where is your empathy, you narcissist? Where is your understanding of reality in the face of an abundance of evidence that you're wrong, you narcissist? Where is your leopard form, you cat, you bloated lion? You are suffering delusions of grandeur. And 2,000 women are raped a day in the U.S. alone. 500,000 people in Western countries alone die from psychiatric medications annually. 60 million plus preventable deaths in the world every year. You sick narcissists that are killing us all. When the people whose spirit resembles those from the hell have eyes. Okay, their Luciferian energy resembles the energy of those deformed people from the hells that alive. What does it mean to be deformed? What does it mean to be out of touch? To have brain injury? It means to lack a sense of where you are. You're disoriented. And who is the most oriented than those who focus mind, body, and soul to outmaneuver their enemies in sparring? That's orientation, not being a big brute. Not being a presentation person. Anyone can put on a show. There's little kids that can put on a show. There's little kids that do flips and do the splits. Are they the top martial artists because their form is superior? Or would I just grab them by the neck and bash their skulls with a mace? If the bigger man can't do the same to me without me outmaneuvering them and stabbing them 1,000 times first, what good is their martial arts conveyance? This is not being a Prince of Ari here. This is not being the top martial artist or something that is less than that, like a great brain surgeon with obstacles presented, which is my father. This is straightforward, communicated in your language, with your mythology, with your cultural ideas, explained damn near perfectly. You are sick if you don't submit. You are a narcissist, you are delusional, and it is probably hereditary when one considers how conditioning affects the reproductive cycle and breeding. Thank you.